Good evening, everybody. It is 6:30 p.m., so I will call the Tuesday, September 2nd meeting of the Superior Common Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Ledeen.
Here.
Counselor Anderson.
Here.
Vice President Moffett.
Here.
Counselor Sweeney. Here. Counselor Fennessy. Here. Counselor Elm.
Here.
Counselor Ludwig.
Here.
Vice President Herrick.
Here.
Counselor Johnson.
Here.
And President Grasky.
We have a quorum.
Item 3.1 is a presentation from the Superior Fire Department on Community Connect software.
Good evening, councilors, mayor. I just want to take a couple minutes of your time tonight to kind of go over our Community Connect part of our software system that we've been implementing. As you may know, we do pre-planning of all of our commercial buildings in town as well as any of our residential buildings that are over 3 units. But single-family residents and duplexes, we don't have authority to inspect. We don't inspect those homes, so we don't do a pre-plan on them. And so what the pre-plan entails is what the structure is used for, what are the high hazards in the area, where are the water shut off, things like that, when we look at commercial buildings. The Community Connect program will allow our citizens to actually be part of that on their own. They can actually fill out the information for their home, what their risks are, who lives in that home, and that information will populate into our pre-plan. So I'm just going to walk through really quickly what that looks like. So the first step, we have it linked on our homepage, so we can look at the city's homepage under departments, and you'll see that under the fire department, the first thing on there is Community Connect. So if the folks would just click on that, it'll just take them to a login where they'll have to create a login. And then once that login is there, this is what the screen looks like. And so we'll allow a homeowner or renter to put in information about their home. So including contact information. So if we happen to go somewhere when no one is around, we would have contact information to let them know what's going on. Household information, so for us, children under 5, they tend to hide or are not able to escape on their own, so that's someone that we're going to be actively searching for. Also children from 6 to 18, anyone over 65, and then just total number of residents in the home. Is it an apartment or not, so they can fill out the information for their specific apartments if they are in a larger multifamily or multi-residential unit. Even though we pre-plan the business or the building itself, this will still allow residents of individual apartments to put their information in here. So how many units in the building this time? Short-term rental information. It's good for us to know that when we respond or go somewhere that this is a short-term rental. The folks that are there may not be familiar with the house or the property. Elevator, sprinkler system, things that we normally find in places. Smoke alarms. Do we have any storage tanks? So if someone has a propane tank or an underground fuel tank that we don't know about, or in the basement. Pool, basement, other hazards that we may run across in a building. Contacts, just contact information. We can look at that. And so not only can we have contacts for the owner, but we can also add additional contacts in their key holders and things like that. So if it's a vacation property or a property where we can't find the resident or the homeowner, we have another person that we can call. Functional needs, so if we have anyone that has different needs. So in this case, we can just add on what that is. Example on this one that I have built in here is, in this case, Joe Johnson, that he's visually impaired. So we have someone who can't see well. We can add pets. As you can see, we have a couple pets here. One happened to be Mary the tiger, and we have Ralph the reptile, who's an alligator who lives in the basement. So. Other information, so access and utilities are good information for us to have. Where the bedrooms are located, special directions how to get in the building. In this case, they're indicating they have a Knox box and where that location is, so we can use our key box so we don't have to take a door. Gate code if they have a gate, where their gas shutoff is. It's really important for us. A lot of times it's really easy to find, but sometimes in this case, we have a giant peonies plant in front of it. So we want to be looking for it so we can find that gas shutoff as quick as we can. Water shutoff. This may actually spur the residents to figure out where their water shutoff is. We've responded to many homes where they're having flooding issues because they have a broken pipe and they don't know where their water shutoff is. So this would give us good access. And again, if the homeowners aren't there, we have a babysitter, a renter, somewhere like that, they'd be able to provide us that information. We can limit property damage by getting that water shut off quickly. Same thing for electrical shut off, for the safety of our responders to be able to shut off utilities. So that information is here. They can add attachments, pictures, whatever they want to it. We'll soon be able to have our burn permits. They can apply through burn permits through this as well. We can respond to them and issue burn permits. So this is what it will look like on the community side. So then when we get called to a call, we have the app pops open. So when Douglas County dispatches us, it'll populate into our system and onto our iPads and our phones. It'll populate the responder view, which is this, which will show us the pre-plan. So in this case, this is a full pre-plan for headquarters, fire station. And I'll swing up to station 2, which was our location, which we just looked at. So this is what the firefighters would see when they show up. They can go through here very quickly, and they can say, oh, the meeting place is where I'm expecting to find the people, east side of the building. No, they have a Knox box. We have a person with special needs. The gas shutoff is located there, water shutoff. They have a fire suppression system. They have pets. And all this information is easily accessible on the way to the scene. So all that information is in a responder's hands prior to arriving on the scene. So this is live now. It's accessible, it's free. The information is stored within the First Use software system. Every year, the individuals will get an email. If they don't respond to that email in a certain amount of time, the information will be scrubbed. And that is so we don't have old data. Right? Old data is just as bad as no data. So it'll get updated every year, and it'll respond or prompt those folks to update it every single year. That's what I have. Is there any questions?
Councilor Sweeney.
First question, how secure is it?
It's secure as a system. When the IT committee went through it, it's the same security as the system would have, the same place where our medical records and everything else are stored. And the IT committee looked at that, and they gave it their blessing when we went through that.
So, maybe you can't give me this, but a number from 1 to 10. 10 is the most secure you could get. Number 1 is obviously the least.
I would say that it's an 8 or a 9. They're a company that keeps up on that. It's kind of beyond my expertise as far as that, but
Yeah.
from what I understand when we went through it, it's a secure system.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions for the fire chief? Councilor Ludi.
Relating to Councilor Sweeney's point, Chief, who has eyes on the eyes, I guess I would say. I mean, if I was a firefighter, can I just access this just because I'm sitting around bored on shift wanting to go through people's houses and see what they're all about?
It would be accessible by any of the fire department members with their logins. However, our policy will be that it's used for responding or pre-planning only. So if we're looking at a commercial building or a residential building, multifamily, we may use that for training. However, it would not be for freedom of use.
Okay, you'll have, but then there will be a policy.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions for the fire chief? No, thank you very much, Chief.
All right,
Light and turn his off.
sorry about that. Item 4.1 is the business of, or the approval of the August 19th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes.
Motion is by Councilor Herrick, second by Councilor Grasky. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
And item 6.1 is report from Mayor Payne.
Good evening again, councilors. It has been a very busy couple of weeks in the community. As many of you know, we had our sister city delegation from Amimachi, Japan join us over a week ago. A number of city electeds and staff participated in that, so I want to say thank you to the Sister City Committee for hosting them. A number of councilors participated, Councilor Moffitt, Councilor Herrick, Councilor Elm. Thank you for your help. Becky was one of our major organizers. And also several staff joined us for welcoming them. I know the delegation was overwhelmed and grateful for the city's support. So thank you for all your work on that and your participation.
the Dragon Boat Festival, I also need to pass along. I got a lot of compliments about city staff and crews and their work putting that forward, and I know this council supported that financially. So that was, it's always one of the largest festivals in the community, so thank you for your support there. And then finally, we just got off of Pride Weekend, 39th Pride Weekend, one of the biggest ever in Superior, and this year, for the first time ever, we hosted the mayor's reception, and it was a very large event. I can't swear it was larger than previous years, but it certainly looked that way to me. So thank you to everybody that joined us and helped us celebrate over the weekend. And now we are all a little bit sun and wind burnt, but back at work. So thank you. That's my report.
Item 7.1 is the business of the Human Resources Committee with the meeting held on August 18th. Is there a report from the chair? Item 8.1.1 is the business of the Plan Commission with a meeting held on August 19th. Is there a report from the chair?
Yes, you see some relatively routine business now from the Plan Commission, setting a public hearing for relatively minor vacation in the north end, at least partially related to the bridge closure, and then yet another vacant to value, which we were finishing up that program. Vacant to value, again, is our program where we take city-owned vacant lots and turn them over to developers to build housing on, and it's been an incredibly successful program. We have more housing units now than we started because we're building houses. We had a limited supply of these lots, but that supply has started replenishing as we pick up a few more, mostly through the tax deed process with Douglas County or just getting some properties they've owned for a very long time. So as long as those keep moving, we're going to keep building housing on them. We're expanding the tax rolls and making houses for folks. So I would recommend, the Plan Commission and I recommend approval of both of those items. Go to the resolution, yeah.
That first is item 8.1.1. Is to approve a resolution introducing the Department of Planning and Development to set a public hearing to consider the vacation and discontinuance of certain streets and alleys referred to in the resolvent clause of this resolution and providing for a public hearing thereon.
Motion is by Councilor Eric, second by Councilor Johnson. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
The second item is to approve a request to waive the land sale process for Marilyn and Robert Gilbertson's application for the vacant to value new construction program for the property located at the 1600 block of Ohio Avenue.
Motion is by Councilor Herrick, second by Councilor Moffett. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
And at this time, are there any further committee or commission reports to be made?
Not seen any, so we can move to old business.
That is item 9.1. It's a recommendation from the Public Works Committee to approve a contract award to Raftellus Financial Consultants Incorporated for consulting services in evaluating the potential acquisition of utilities operated by Superior Water, Light, and Power in the amount not to exceed $150,000.
Okay, councilors, as you know, this had a motion and second at the last meeting, so we are in discussion. Councilor Sweeney.
I would like to, excuse me, I'd like to make a motion that we refer that to the Finance Committee for some in-depth look at some financials from Superior Water, Light, and also from financials in regards to the city operation of this proposed project.
Okay, the motion is to refer. Councilor, I got to clarify. Do you want the regular committee, or would you entertain a special?
We will entertain. Sure. Let's have a special meeting sometime next week, based upon my two members when they're available, and but definitely next week we'll make a special meeting of it.
Thank you, Councilor. The motion is to refer to a special meeting of the Finance Committee. Is there a second? The second was by Councilor Johnson. Is there discussion on the motion to refer? Councilor Moffett.
Just a clarifying question. I'm curious, the motion is to hire a consultant to get us good numbers, to look at the feasibility and to look at and some of these things. And so I'm curious what numbers the Finance Committee is looking for next week.
Your light, please, Councilor Sweeney.
Sorry? There are a number of things that I don't want to go into detail on it, but we want to look at the Superior Water Lights, dig down on that. I want to dig down on some sources, some other cities in the state of Wisconsin that have similar utilities. We're going to take a look at that and clarify. I read what their proposal is and what we asked them to do, okay? But I think there are some things that have to be clarified before that. So we're just going to go through and just dig a little deeper in those things. There may be nothing we find. I find that hard to believe, but there may be. But just putting another set of eyes on it, a little more time. I don't think this has a rush on it, but we will get it done. Assuming this passes, we will get it done next week for the following city council meeting.
Further discussion? The motion is to refer. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
New business item 10.1 is Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Director Maruska recommends approval of a grant agreement with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for the advancement of the City of Superior's vision for expanded waterfront access, environmental restoration, and community recreation opportunities.
Second.
Motion is by Councilor Dean, second by Councilor Ludwig. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.2, Public Works Director Janigo recommends approval of an ordinance amending City Code Chapter 112, Traffic Code Schedule J, accessible parking zones to add accessible parking sign to 2004 Baxter Avenue on both sides.
Motion is by Councilor Herrick, second by Councilor Ludwig. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.3, Planning, Economic Development, and Port Director Cirque recommends approval of a resolution authorizing the city's consent to assignment and assumption agreement regarding the city lease with Superior Laundry Property, LLC.
Motion is by Councilor Grasky, second by Councilor Ledeen. Is there discussion? Councilor Sweeney.
I just have one question. When this passes on to the next holder, do everything that's said in the original lease that hasn't been clarified in an addendum carries through for the remaining of the 99 years? Is that fair to say?
I believe that's correct, yes. And Director Cirque is nodding his head. The lease provisions do carry from one lessee to the next if the property is sold.
Not any more, not any less, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Thank you.
Further discussion. Councilor Moffett.
Yeah, I don't have any specific concerns with this exact agreement, but I know that this contract isn't for 99 years. It's for a shorter period and it can be renewed. But initially it sounds like we gave them $66,000 up front, then charged them $10,000 one-time fee. Then it sounds like the renewal, when that kicks in, would be a $20,000 fee one time. And they do pay a fee annually equal to their property taxes, I think is or equal to what their property taxes would be, I think is the way that it's arranged. I'm just curious, if we have an opportunity at this point or at future points to potentially look at some of these leases and renegotiate, because essentially, the way that I read the contract is we're paying them $30,000 and change to use our land for 60 years. And they're paying the property taxes on it, but they're not paying any sort of lease or anything. And so just I know we might be locked into this one, but I love land leases, and I think it's a great way for the city to handle things, but I think we really could have come up with maybe some more favorable conditions on this.
Okay, I'm going to ask, sir, do you want me to answer any of those questions? I could clarify some of that if you like.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask Director Cirque to clarify the terms of the lease, renewal fees, and things like that. What I can say is, in terms of the taxes, obviously they don't pay property taxes because we own the property. Previously, they would have paid a personal property tax. That has since been repealed. However, there is still it's not exactly a payment in lieu of taxes, but there is an amount equivalent to what they had been paying in terms of personal property taxes. The city does draw revenue from it. Mr. Stark, the terms, though, renewals and payments.
Garner, or Councilor Moffett is correct on a lot of those terms. And just to clarify, Councilor Sweeney, there's 66 years remaining on the lease in the original 99-year lease that was done in 1991. So I hope that kind of clarifies your question on that. Yeah, this is the way economic development was done back in 1991. These, quite frankly, I don't know if I would, being honest here, I don't think I'd have a lease like this in place today. I don't think it would get by the Finance Committee or to this council, quite frankly. It is very favorable for the developer, and unfortunately, it kind of does continue to move on. This is our last one. This is the only one that we have that's left. If you remember, probably 3 or 4 years ago, we ended up another large lease like this we had with, it was Northwest Beverages at the time, but it turned into Burnix, and they ended up purchasing the property from us. So we're here today just to kind of continue with this lease. We did have some discussions with Mr. Mahan, who is here today, who is the benefactor to this, who essentially is getting relocated and, going to be putting some pretty considerable investment in the building. He has to buy new racking. He has to get a building permits for new electrical and be kind of sprucing that place up. So he is investing, and, we are thankful for that. Mayor is correct on the taxes. It used to be personal property tax, and now it is that. I think it's to the tune of about $15,000 to $16,000 a year, which will go up with the value of the building. So I hope that clarifies things a little bit for you. But yeah, we were scratching our heads on this one. It's a tough one to kind of swallow, but I think we can move on, and I think John will take nice care of the property, and we can move forward.
And in terms of renegotiation, any contract can be renegotiated. You just need leverage. And in a case like this, you're likely looking at some kind of buyout or some kind of sale. We talked about a couple of different ways of changing this relationship as he was moving into the building. Ultimately, this was the relationship he wanted, and he's entitled to it. So if he wanted something different, we'd have had lots of leverage. As it happened, we really didn't have much at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, just say thanks for answering my questions, and I read the contract pretty thoroughly, so I understand this is what we have right now. And I just want to say, I recognize that this particular contract isn't necessarily what we would choose to probably write this year or try and pass. But I also want to say that I think these land contracts are an invaluable tool for communities like ours, and a lot of other cities across the country are using those as economic development tools. And they write more modern versions of these, and often include could be profit sharing agreements or other sorts of things to help the businesses and essentially create revenue, and then also keep long-term control of the land with the city. So I'd say this one isn't particularly favorable for the city right now, but I don't want that to discourage people from looking into this as a general tool, because I think there are wonderful examples of how this use is expanding in a lot of other communities, and I think it's can be really beneficial for both businesses to lower their initial costs up front on a project, and then also beneficial long term for the city. So thank you.
Further discussion. Councilor Grant.
I just want to mention too that this is a relocation too. Saving a business due to the bridge closure and rebuild is something that I think has been taking a lot of time from this department, especially in the the harmony that needed to happen. I think we need to remember that side of it too. So
we are actually almost done with bridge relocation and adaptation work. You approved a resolution earlier for vacating a public street that also related to the bridge closure, but I don't know that we have a lot more closure work coming before the council. We have this just about wrapped up.
Correct, Mayor. You are correct. I think this is kind of the last action that you will see on this. We will start bringing you, it's kind of out of this realm, and if I may, we'll start bringing you some land sales that we're going to be selling land to the DOT for the project, kind of around where I call it Telephone Associates, but where Helver Line's office was on that corner there. So there will be some of that, and I know Rax is going to be handling some land sales kind of where the bridge is going, because we are making it a little wider for the for the pedestrian area. So you will be getting a little bit more of those, but the relocation stuff is pretty well done. So.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Item 10.4, I'm recommending approval to appoint Kimberly Lear as agent for JKCJ Enterprises doing business as Birds Bar and Liquor, holders of Class B liquor and Class B beer alcohol, and cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail licensing.
The motion is by Councilor Dean. The second is by Councilor Graski. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. The motion carries. There's no public comment, so I see no further business, and we are adjourned. Thank you.